بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وقدوتنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى تسليم اللهم علمنا بما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Welcome to beginning classical Arabic. We are talking about adjectives, sifa wal mawsuf, adjectives and the nouns that they describe. And we had previously gone over the theory and started to get into the practice. I'll very briefly go back over the slides for this particular concept. Okay, so the name of an adjective in Arabic, there's two terminologies. One of them is sifa, which is what we will be using for its distinctness. And then we have na'at. Na'at is also acceptable terminology for an adjective. There are two parts to this construction, just like with previous constructions, such as prepositional phrases or mudaf mudaf ilayh. Here, the name of those parts are sifa and mawsuf, the adjective and the noun that is being described. These two words, the sifa and mawsuf, they have two important characteristics. The first is that they must agree. There must be agreement between the sifa and the mawsuf, and they must agree in four things: number, gender, case, and definity, whether it is definite or indefinite. And we talked about all these different examples for that. It will be, inshallah, on the slides I will send to you today. I didn't get around to sending it to you before today. And then the second thing is the order in which it comes. The order in which it comes is the opposite order from English. So whereas we say this is a black pen, Arabic is more like the Romance languages, where we say هذا قلم أسود. This is a pen black, literally word for word translation. Okay, which if you speak any other languages other than English, that should be very familiar to you already. So let's proceed to the book. We are now into some other types of exercises. اقرأ واكتب, read and write. So going down our list here, let's start with Sister Masarrat. Could you please do number 1, please?
محمد طالب قديم.
Very good. What type of sentence is this? فعلية or اسمية?
اسمية.
Very good. Where is the mubtada and where is the khabar?
Muhammad is the mubtada.
Very good. How do you know?
How do I know?
Yeah, they all have tanween. How do you know?
Because the Qadimun describes the student. So
Good. Yes.
I knew that they went together.
Very good. Yes. Okay. So this is who we're talking about. This is what we're saying about who we're talking about. Another way that you can tell is that this is ma'rifa, this is definite, and this is nakira. And this works because the khabar is made up of asma, is made up of isms, right? Whereas if it were a prepositional phrase, or whether if the khabar was another sentence in and of itself, that rule wouldn't hold. But here, we can't be fooled by the tanween. Muhammad is ma'rifa, and talibun qadimun is nakira. Very good. And I just, did you translate it, or did I translate it, or did no one translate it?
No one translated it.
Can you translate?
I don't know what qadim means actually. Muhammad is some sort of student, but
that means we learn. Qadim means old.
Okay.
And qadama is one of those roots. There are some roots in Arabic that have more than one meaning, and those two meanings are the opposite. So qaf Dal mim is one of those pesky roots where there are words such as qadim, which means old, and then there are words such as mutaqaddim, which is the forefront of something, right? Or al-qadima, the following year, as-sana al-qadima, like the next year, in the future, right? Good. Does it mean that he has been there for a while, or is he old as in age? We can't say for certain, but using qadim for a person's age is a little less common than using it for how long they've been doing something. So if I had to take a guess right here, I would say that they're probably saying that Muhammad has been a student for a very long time. But it doesn't prevent the possibility that it could be referring to his age. But context would solve those sorts of things. Good question. Yeah. Going on to the Sayyid family, could one of you, well, why don't you split number 2? Someone do the question and someone do the answer.
It's only me right now, though.
Okay, no problem. Then you do the whole thing.
All right. Azalikal rajalu mudarrasun jadidun la huwa tabibun jadidun.
Good. Translate that for us.
Is that man?
Yep.
Is that man the new teacher?
Very good. Yep. A new teacher, but yes, right idea. So the answer is?
No, he is a new student.
Yes. Very good. Very good. So you've got all the vocab down. Now, I'll ask you.
Sorry, is Tabib student?
Oh, Tabib. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being good. Tabib is doctor.
Doctor.
So we have teacher and doctor.
Doctor, okay. Yeah, sorry.
No, thank you for the catch, Sister Masala. Good. So how do we know, now let's think about the translation. How do we know that is that man the new teacher or a new teacher? How can we tell?
The tanween.
Yes, exactly. Because it has tanween, we know it is a new teacher out of many possible new teachers. And then it said, La huwa tabibun jadid. No, he is a new doctor. Really good. Excellent work. Moving on to number 3. Let's have Sister Semen.
هذا درس سهل.
Very good. Translate for us.
This is an easy lesson.
Very good. Where's the mubtada? Where's the subject of the sentence?
هذا درس.
Oh, yeah, this is good. See, this is why I asked this question. I'm not picking on you, I promise. How would we know? Before we give the answer, how would we know what's the subject and what's the predicate? What's the mubtada and what's the khabar? How do we know? Because, okay, we know that hada is part of the mubtada. Easy. And we know that sahlun is probably part of the khabar, right?
Right.
Dars is the hard one. How do we figure out, does dars belong to, and I think we learned that dars means lesson, right? I think we learned that. How do we tell if it is part of the mubtada or part of the khabar, whether it's part of the subject or the predicate?
It's marfu.
Marfu', that's very good, but I'll counter that answer and say everything in the sentence is marfu'. Right? Even though hada doesn't demonstrate that for us because just the type of word it is. Right? But let's say like up here with Muhammad talibun qadimun, everything's marfu'. Everything has tanween. How on earth did we tell up here? We're able to tell up here because this was ma'rifah, meaning it was definite. And this was nakira, which means that it was indefinite. Okay? Okay, sure, Imam. What does that mean? How do we know that Muhammad is ma'rifah? Okay, well, they pulled a little trick on you up here with the tanween because Muhammad just happens to be a masculine name. So even though it has a tanween, it is definite. Most things with nouns, if they have tanween, it means they're nakira. So here, down here, getting to your sentence, we have هذا darsun sahlun. Darsun and sahlun both have tanween. That means they're both nakira, and that means that هذا is the mubtada, darsun sahlun is the khabar. This is a easy lesson or an easy lesson. This is what we're talking about. What do we want to say about this? It's an easy lesson. If you want to think about it another way, what are we learning about? We're learning about a pair, sifa mawsuf. So just like with mudaf ilayh, it's not going to straddle the mubtada and khabar. One of them is not going to be in the mubtada and the other one in the khabar, right? So they're going to be together. So if darsun sahlun is the pair, sifa mawsuf, then that has to be the whole khabar, right? And we can tell that it's sifa mawsuf because sahlun follows darsun in those four things. It is nakira, nakira, marfu, marfu, singular, singular, masculine, masculine. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does now.
Okay, alhamdulillah. All right, let's let Brother Muhammad, who just came back, Muhammad Mu'tasim, please do number 4.
Abbasun,
Yes,
Tajirun, Shahirun.
very good, excellent job. Translate that for us. Did we learn Shahir? Shahir is famous.
Abbas is a famous merchant.
Yes, fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to pick on you a little bit because you weren't here, and so you didn't hear all this other explanation. What is the mubtada in the sentence?
Tajir.
Tajir. Why? How can you tell?
Because actually, Abbasun is the mubtada.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
How can you tell?
And because they're talking about Abbas.
Good. Okay, good, good, good.
Okay. And this is Tajirun is khabar.
Okay. What about Shahir? What's Shahir doing? Just hanging out?
It's adjective.
Yes, you're right. It's sifa.
Sifat.
But it's also part of the khabar, right? It,
Yes.
along with tajir, sifa mawsuf as part of the khabar. Very good. You did good. MashaAllah. Exactly. And he wasn't tricked by the fact that Abbasun has a tanween, because even though it has a tanween, it only has a tanween because it's a masculine proper name, which is very similar to the first example up here. Very good. This is kind of tricky a little bit, but you all are doing very well. Brother Tamim, number 5.
Bilalun muhandasun kabirun.
Very good. Muhandis. It's muhandis with a kasra. But you're
Kabir.
very good. Translate for us.
Bilal is a large engineer, or like a famous, I guess it could mean like famous engineer.
Yeah, a great or
Oh, great engineer. Okay.
we could literally say a big engineer in the sense that we do use like he's a big shot or something like that. But
Okay.
just like Allah is El Kabir, right? We don't say Allah is the most large. We say he's the great.
Good point.
So that's good though. Alhamdulillah. Okay, good. We got some nice new vocab in here. Good. Okay. Bilalun muhandisun kabirun. And what is the mubtada? What's the khabar?
The mubtada would be Bilalun, And muhandisun kabirun would be the khabar.
Yep, excellent work. And kabirun follows muhandisun in those 4 things, as we talked about earlier. Dhamma, dhamma, tanween, tanween, singular, singular, masculine, masculine. Very, very good. Number 6, Brother Sa'id.
Number 6. Okay. In Inkiliziyatu.
Very good. This is the word for English.
No. Lughatun
Very good.
Sa'batun.
Excellent. Do you agree with the statement?
No. English is a difficult language.
Yes, very good. Sa'batun. Sa'batun means difficult. The opposite of sahlun. Sahlun means easy. I'll put that in there too. Very good. What's the mubtada?
The mubtada is English.
Good. How can you tell?
Because it's the subject. That's me. Yeah, because it's the subject. Because the rest is explaining.
Okay, you're right. Now let's imagine that explanation didn't exist. Why is it also?
Because it's ending with dhamma, I believe.
Lughatun has dam at the end, and so does sa'batun.
Because of the structure of the sentence, I would say.
Fancy wrong answer. No, I'm picking on because it's always helpful to know more than one reason. Okay, because some things are crutches, some things are true like 99% of the time, or even worse, some things are not always easy to discern. If we're talking about a huge sentence, it might not always be 100% clear. Okay, what's the subject philosophically? Like, what are we talking about here, right? And so your easy trick is that the mubtada is ma'rifah. Okay, it's definite. And this is a good general rule, even if it's not true in every single possible example. We can talk about some things generally, without using something that's definite. But the vast majority of sentences in real world situations, the subject is going to be definite because you're talking about something that's known, right? And so over here, number 1, number 4, number 5, the fact that the mubtada was ma'rifah was somewhat obscured by the fact that it was a masculine name with a tanween. But over here, al-injiliziyya or al-inkiliziyya, it has alif lam, and it only has 1 dhamma instead of 2, which is a clear marker that it's ma'rifah, which distinguishes it from the rest of the sentence because we have lughatun, sa'batun. Both of these have tanween. We know that this is the sifa mawsuf pair. It goes together. And this is the mubtada. Very, very good. Okay. Back to the top. The Sayyids, whoever is with me. Number 7.
Okay. Anta rajulun ghaniyun.
Good.
La anta rajulun fakirun.
Very good. Any clues what that means?
Is that man rich? I forgot what anta is.
Yes. Ghani is rich and faqir is the opposite for.
Or, yeah.
Allah is al-Ghani, one of Allah's names. What's going on over here? Anta.
Yeah. Is.
Good. You recognize that it's a question. You recognize that the first hamza is just a question hamza.
Yeah. But I don't know the anta how to.
It's okay. That's actually easier to fix than the other one. She recognized the important thing, which is the question. Enta means you, masculine.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't even know, have we had that before? Maybe we have in one of the conversations, but I can't recall. We definitely had hua, which means he, subject pronoun. We definitely had which means she, subject pronoun. Now we have you, masculine, enta, which is a subject pronoun. So now we have a rather bold question. Someone asking you, are you a rich man? And the answer, no, I. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is another subject pronoun, ana. I, rajulun faqirun. I am a poor man. Very good. Okay, let's roll on to number 8. Brother Mohammed Mu'tasim.
القارعة مدينة كبيرة.
Very good. Al-Qahiratu is Cairo, the city of Cairo in Egypt, the capital of Egypt. I have to correct your pronunciation on that because you said Al-Qari'atu, which is the day of judgment.
القاهرة.
Al-Qari'ah. وما أدراك. We run into some problems there if we say it's a big city. Good. So Al-Qahiratu Madinatun Kabiratun. Madinatun is a city. We call Medina in Saudi Arabia Medina because it's short for the Prophet's city, Madinatul Nabi, or the illuminated city or enlightened city, Al-Madinatul Munawwara. So Madinatun by itself is a city. And Kabira is simply, now we're talking about it could be great or it could be large, literally. And we notice that it's feminine. Earlier we had Bilalun Muhandisun Kabirun. Sifa Mawsuf, the Sifa has to follow the Mawsuf in 4 things. Now we have Madinatun Kabiratun. We have a nice demonstration of the Sifa following the Mawsuf. Medina is singular. It is marfu'. It is nakira, and it is feminine, not masculine. And so we have kabiratun, the singular feminine version of kabir. Good. Good stuff, and some deceptively difficult exercise. Good job. Moving on to Sister Sema, number 9.
Okay. أنت مدرس قديم؟ لا أنا مدرس جديد.
Very good. Can you translate?
Okay. Are you a old teacher?
Yes.
No, I am a new teacher.
Very good. Excellent. And I like your hesitation because it shows how some things in Arabic wouldn't really make sense for us to say literally. Like we would never say to somebody, are you an old teacher? Right? That would be a little bit rude. But in Arabic, no problem. Mashi. Very good. Number 10, Brother Tamim.
أحامد طالب كسلان لا هو طالب مجتهد.
MashaAllah. Very good. What do you think that means?
Is Hamid a lazy student? No, he's a hardworking student.
Very good. MashaAllah. Excellent. So I don't recall, I think we had Kaslan last class. Kaslan is lazy. We will talk more about that particular phonetic pattern later in this lesson. And Mujtahidun we've had from the beginning.
Doesn't Kaslan look dual?
I'm sorry, say again?
Well, doesn't Kaslan look dual? Like,
Oh, it does look dual. You're right. Very good. It does look dual. However, it's not. It's a common wazn. It's a common phonetic pattern for adjectives. Kaslan, ghadban, atshan, right? Jaw'an, and so on and so forth. Hungry, thirsty, angry. Many of these types of adjectives that describe emotional states happen to be on this particular phonetic pattern. However, you are right. You are right. It does resemble the dual. So what Sister Musarrat is making us aware of is that there's not just in Arabic two numbers. There's not just a singular and plural. There's also a dual form. Something similar to how we would say both. However, in English, we use one word, both, to communicate the fact that there's two, perhaps, whereas in Arabic, it's something that's on the word itself. So if we have kitabun, that is singular, okay? If we want to make it plural, we have kutubun, pardon this ta, which is what's called a broken plural because it is a non-adamant object. And then we have the dual. So to make something dual, kitaban, we simply tack on an alif nun at the end of it. It means two books. And it happens in the Quran and the Hadith all the time. However, as we say, just because we have a hammer doesn't mean that everything is a nail. This particular ending, and it occurs in the dual, but it also occurs to communicate other things. Ar-Rahman. If we're going to say that Alif Nun always communicates dual, then we've just made two gods. Ar-Rahman. Right? So it doesn't. It has a separate function of meaning that's distinct and independent from the dual form, with emotional states or essential qualities, or sometimes, I don't want to say exaggerated because in our language exaggerated is blameworthy. How do we translate that? Sigha mubalagha is like the pinnacle of something, like the utmost extent of something, which is Ar-Rahman, right? If Rahma is mercy, then Ar-Rahman is the pinnacle of mercy, right? So these things can have different different phonetic patterns, and they take a little time to learn, but it's very rewarding. Does anybody have any questions about these before I erase all of my kind of notes here? And anybody want to take some screenshots? Go ahead and do that. I promise I'll be more punctual about sending out the vocab this week. I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to erase and we keep rolling. New exercise. Let's try to finish this one, and then probably that'll take up the rest of the class. ضع في الفراغ في الجمل الآتية نعتا مناسبا. So they use the word na'at here for adjective instead of sifa. So what this means is fill in the blanks with suitable adjectives, and meaning adjectives that make sense from the previous vocabularies, words that you've learned. Qadim and jadid, sahlun and sa'bun, right? These sorts of things. Try to pick something that makes sense, right? We don't want to say that this doctor is hard or difficult. We want to use something else. So okay, we had gotten down to, I believe Tamim was the last one to go, correct? Sister Musarrat, can you do number 1 for us?
Sure. Can I put any adjective?
Yes, any at all.
Okay. Khadijatun, sorry. خديجة طالبة مجتهدة.
Very good. Excellent job. So see what she did. She picked, first thing she did was she picked an adjective that made sense. Mujtahidatun makes sense. Mujtahidatun makes sense because it's hardworking, right? And it's very optimistic. We don't want to say that everybody's lazy. And then she made it agree with the mawsuf. Okay, she made it agree with the noun that it's describing. So the noun it's describing is singular, it's feminine, it's marfu' with a dhamma, and it's nakira with a tanween. And so she made sure that mujtahidatun followed the mawsuf in all of those 4 things. Very good. Next up, brother Sa'id, number 2.
خالد no sorry خالد تاجر كبير.
MashaAllah. Very good. Well done. So he made kabirun fit tajirun because this is the pair, right? They come in pairs. Sifa right here, mawsuf right here. Singular, singular. Masculine, masculine. Marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. Very good. Okay. Back to the top, we have Muhammad Mu'tasim, number 3.
العربية لغة سهل.
Sahlun. Okay.
سهل.
Just like this. You tell me if it's right. Just like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody agree or disagree in the chat box or on the microphone? We're not going to disagree that it's an easy language, but there's some.
It could just match with the gender.
Yeah, very good. So make it match.
Yes. سهلة.
Or we could also say Jamilatun.
Yes, that's right. We could say Jamilatun, we could say Fasihatun, Ra'i'atun. We could keep going. And in Arabic, it's not considered it's not considered corny like it is in English to like smack like 7 adjectives on the end of something. Like in English, we would say that's just being silly. But in Arabic, it's totally fine. And you find that in the works of the ulama. Okay, lugatun sahlatun. Good. So sahl before sahlun becomes sahlatun because lugatun is feminine.
Yes.
Fantastic. Good. Singular, singular, feminine, feminine, marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. Yes, good. Sister Semin, number 4.
Okay. Al-asfuru ta'irun. I actually don't know what the words mean.
That's fine. You did very well pronouncing it for not knowing what the words mean. Usfur is a nightingale. I think we had last lesson maybe, or the lesson
Okay.
type of bird.
Okay.
And then
Al-asfuru ta'irun jamilan.
yes, very good. Very nice. So al-usfuru mubtada ma'rifa, ta'irun a bird, jamilun. Very nice. Okay, we have masculine, masculine, singular, singular, marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. Yes, brother Tamim, number 5.
التفاح فاكهة حلوة.
MashaAllah. Very good. So he has fakihatun, fruit, right? Hulwatun or halwatun, which is sweet. You could have also said ladhidatun, delicious. You could have said kabiratun, saghiratun, anything that you thought made sense for tufah. Some things are going to be relative. And notice how we have singular, singular. feminine, feminine, marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. They're really taking it easy on you with all the examples because they're only changing them. You know, we're not having any plurals. We're not having anything that's part of prepositional phrases or mudaf, mudaf ilay. We're not having anything that's ma'rifa. The only variable that they're changing now is whether it's masculine or feminine. And that's good because now we're getting accustomed to the kind of construction. And then as we get used to it, then they're going to shake us up a little bit and throw in another curveball. Good. Brother Sire, number 6.
أنا مدرس جميل.
MashaAllah, mashallah.
Sorry.
You should only teach the gentleman then. I'm only going to make you teach the gentleman. He's a fitna, mashallah, tabarakallah. No, it's funny, right? Because in English, if you don't know what to say, we have our stock like compliments or our stock adjectives, right? We say nice, like, oh, that's nice, right? And it could mean a million things. Well, in Arabic, Jamil is kind of serves that purpose. You know, Jamil doesn't have to be like beautiful in the specific sense that it is in English. It can mean like nice. It can mean like good. It can mean, you know, like lots of things like that. So, you know, a little bit of self-praise. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. But he says, أنا, I am a مُدَرِّسٌ جَمِيلٌ. A nice, beautiful, whatever you want to translate it as, teacher. Good. Number 7. Back to the Sayyids.
Okay, so you want to do it or
No,
you?
you go ahead.
Okay. Muhammadun tabibun jadidun.
Very good. Excellent work. First time we've used a deed in this exercise. And Muhammad is a new doctor. Welcome, Muhammad. Ahlan wa sahlan. Number 8. I hear Brother Muhsin has come.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Al-Inklizatun Lughatun Sahlatun.
MashaAllah. Very good. Except for Al-Inkiliziya has to have only one dhamma at the end of it. Al-Inkiliziya 2.
Oh, Inklizia too. Yes, yes, yes.
Very good. Lughatun Sahlatun. Look at how he made the sifa, which is Sahlatun, agree with Lughatun in the fact that they are both singular. They are both feminine. They are both marfu' and they are both nakir. Fantastic job. Back to Sister Masarat, number 9.
أأنت طالب what do I say? Sorry. قديم, I guess.
You don't really want to use like kaslanun or anything like that. So that's a nice missing question. Anta talibun qadimun. And qadimun matches the mawsuf talibun in the 4 things it has to. Singular, singular, masculine, masculine, marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. Very good. And the final one, Sister Semin.
Okay. Al-Qahiratun or Al-Qahiratu Madinatun Kabiratun.
Excellent work. Good job. And she also made kabiratun, match, madinatun, in the 4 things it has to. Okay, singular, singular, feminine, feminine, marfu', marfu', nakira, nakira. Excellent work. And that is exactly 40 minutes on the dot. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have a question. What if I wanted to say that Cairo is the largest city in Egypt, for example? I want to say largest, not...
Good. So this would bring us into the land of superlatives and comparatives.
So isn't that al though?
Sorry?
It does not begin with a definite article.
It would, but the superlative uses the definite article. So let's say, okay, Allah is kabir. He's great. Okay, and we say in the adhan, Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. This is the comparative. Okay, it's actually not the superlative. If we want to say the superlative, he is the greatest, then we add the alif lam to it. Al akbar.
But then it wouldn't match Medina in.
No, we would have to change the whole sentence. Yeah, yeah. Actually, the relationship between the superlative and the category of which it is the best or whatever is not the relationship between. Oh no, let's see. It would be al-Madinatul Kubra. Yep. Al-Qahiratu al-Madinatul Kubra. Or we would say al-Madinatul Kubra fil Misr al-Qahira.
So we couldn't use it in this format. In this format, the only form that works is basically the simplest format. We can't use the.
We would need something. We would need something else. So let's say, for example, if we have al-Qahiratu, let's try to keep as many things as the same as we would. Al-Qahiratu would be what? Al-Madinatul Kubra fil Misr.
It's frozen.
That's, I think, the closest that we can get. We would need some sort of other prepositional phrase to kind of balance out the sentence. Al-Madinatul Kubra fi Misr. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, everybody with me? I just had a moment of. Everybody with me?
I'm here.
Yes.
Yes.
The internet connection got stopped for a second. That's good. We will see. We will see. It's going to slowly introduce wrinkles, right? So right now the wrinkle is just masculine, feminine. Then the wrinkle is going to be probably prepositional phrases, putting us in situations where the mawsuf is going to be majroor, right? Or the mawsuf is going to be mansub. And so the sifa has to follow it across cases. And then it's going to have to follow it across number. And then it's going to have to follow it across definiteness. So inshallah, we will get there. But it does occur to me that it feels like a very unnatural thing to say in that particular way of phrasing it. So I would need to, I think, step away for a second and rethink what would we say in Arabic to say the same thing in English. Because to translate it word for word, it doesn't seem right to me. Al-Qahiratu al-Madinatul Kubra fil Misr.
What if we take a simple one? This is the biggest house.
هذا البيت الأكبر. The biggest house. بيت الأكبر. البيت الأكبر. البيت الأكبر.
So then.
No.
So then, how can al-bayt be?
It wouldn't be. It would be mudaf mudaf ilayh. That's it. Yes. It would be akbarul bayt. The biggest house.
Okay.
You would have to say, which is exactly yes. Thank you. It would not be the relationship of sifa mawsuf, which it would be in English. But in Arabic, it would switch. If we're going to say something like that, it would switch to mudaf mudaf ilayh. Because inherently, if you're saying the biggest city, you're saying the biggest city of a certain pool of cities. Either absolutely unrestricted, all the cities.
The biggest of the cities, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing that to rise to the top. Okay, very good. Any other questions?
Are we going to continue all the way up to Ramadan?
That's the plan. Yes.
Okay.
Continue the Ramadan, and we'll probably take a break for Ramadan and then resume. Maybe we'll do a brief review lesson or something like that after Ramadan, after Eid, and then start up again, inshallah. That's the plan. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.